good programs that serve the needs of your community. And then also we have developed ministry training tools and resources. A lot of those are online, and you can go to our Orchard Africa website and you can find those tools. There's sermon material, there's training material, there are things that you can use in your church that will help you. We put out videos, we use WhatsApp, and we try and use as many methods as possible to provide you with tools that can help you in your role as a church pastor and as a leader. And so that brings us to church partnership. What is church partnership, and what does it look like? Well, typically once a year, we invite pastors within the Orchard Network to apply for what we call partnership funding. And that funding is there to help that church implement and sustain one of the programs, or maybe more of the programs that we've just been spoken about. And so we invite those applications, and then we evaluate those applications based on the needs that you tell us are in your community, based on your capacity as a leader and as a church to implement and to sustain those programs, and then how you would assess and evaluate that that program can make a meaningful difference within your community. And so we have two levels of partnership and training that goes along with those levels. And both of those happen through the Orchard Network, because the Orchard Network provides partnership at two levels. The first level is with church leaders who have been selected for funding and who are implementing projects that are funded by Orchard Africa. There are regular training sessions, regular in-person meetings, and just a person, a staff member, an Orchard Africa team that will stand by you through the Orchard Network to help you in running those programs effectively. But then there are also church leaders who do not receive funding or have not been invited to apply for funding. We encourage those leaders to still be part of the Orchard Network, because the Orchard Network is there to provide fellowship, to provide teaching, encouragement, to provide mentoring. And one of the things that we have learned is that even for churches who do not receive funding from Orchard Africa, through the Orchard Network, they hear and they listen and they watch and they learn and go back to their communities and their churches and have the vision and the inspiration to implement programs even that Orchard Africa does not provide the funding for. And so even if you're not a partner that is being funded, we encourage you to be a part of the Orchard Network. It's a network. There's no membership application. There's no membership fees. It's simply a platform where we as a ministry can provide you with tools that we believe can be helpful to you. So now for those churches and those leaders who are interested in receiving funding, there is an application process. We send out applications, and those applications are only for those who receive them. It's not something you can photocopy and pass out to everybody else that you know. We know who has been invited, and so we will not consider applications that come from everybody else that you might have made a copy for. And so when those applications are completed, and they're very simple and very self-explanatory, and again, our staff are there to help you to complete that application properly. Once we receive those applications, we then evaluate whether that application qualifies to receive funding. And that application is considered based on these things. The first one is the church leader's commitment to the Orchard Network. We do not send out applications to church leaders who have not been faithful, regular, and consistent in their attendance and their commitment to the Orchard Network. And so if you've been part of the Orchard Network for a year and been coming to meetings, then you possibly could be one of those that get invited to complete the funding application. We also look at the church leaders' understanding and commitment to community development. There's a phrase that we use which says, we want to see Sunday preachers transformed into community leaders. And so when we understand and you demonstrate to us that you have a heart for your community and not just for your church, that goes a long way in helping us evaluate whether to approve your application. The other thing is the needs in the church leaders community that will be met by the Orchard Africa programs. We focus on those 4 program areas because those are ones that we believe can produce the most sustainable change, and they are the most viable for you as a church to implement and manage. And so if you are seeking to run some kind of a project that does not fit into one of those 4 programs, well, unfortunately, that application cannot and will not be considered. And then we look for the demonstrated desire by you as a church leader to embrace community leadership and develop projects that will benefit the needs of the greater community and not just your church. You're a pastor and you have a congregation, but you're also a leader who has been placed by God within a community for a reason. And our dream and our desire is that as a pastor, you will focus on your congregation, but as a community leader, you will look beyond that and see every single people in the community where your church is as somebody that needs to be touched with the love of Jesus and the compassion that he brings. And then the last one is the ability of Orchard Africa to raise and to sustain